All right, ladies and gents, and welcome to WandaVision Episode 6 Reaction Review, aka the Halloween Special. Now, right off the bat, here's a few things that I absolutely love about this episode. Number one being the theme song. This theme song is poppin'. It's poppin' and lockin'. Before this theme song, I would say my favorite one would probably be the Bewitched one in the second episode, but this one just takes the cake. It's so drenched in early 2000s cheese right here. And to be perfectly honest, if it did exist, which I know it doesn't because I searched to death and it doesn't exist outside of this episode, but if this song existed in Spotify or anything like that, I would be listening to this theme song on the regular all the time. So if any Disney execs, which I know there aren't, but if any Disney execs are listening to this thing, please put it on Spotify. Put at least this theme song on Spotify or YouTube or anything, because this is the best work you've done. I mean, bravo, props to you. I mean, it's obviously kind of a parody of Malcolm in the Middle and those types of sitcoms and theme songs that were happening around that time. And honestly, Malcolm in the Middle has been revered as one of the best sitcoms of our modern age. So I can understand why they kind of did that there. I mean, good job. Good job there. Throughout this episode, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking, which Malcolm normally did in his show and all that. It's mostly about the kids, not necessarily about the adults, but it kind of teeters a little bit toward Wanda because it is Wanda's show, basically. And Vision, we get some more Vision in here too. I mean, it is their show, but you know, the kids are taking over, ladies and gentlemen. The kids are taking over. And the second greatest thing of this whole episode is the commercial. The commercial in this one is absolutely wacky and insane. It is the most wacky and insane commercial ever put on this show. Basically, it's claymation, which I remember watching a lot of those commercials as a kid, talking about how, you know, this kid, he's starving to death. And this guy's like, oh, hey, take a little bit of my yogurt over here, man. Which I remember a lot of Go-Gurt commercials kind of being kind of like this, claymation, just like cool shark, you know, doing its thing. And then the kid just tries to open it and can't for days and days and just dies with its skeleton just on the island. And then it's just saying, this yogurt is so radical, man. And I'm like, whoa, dude, what the heck? And the yogurt's name is Yo Magic. And no spoilers, but this isn't about something that happened in Wanda's past that we've seen so far. This is what's going to happen in the later of the show. So it's going to be explained later on in the show. So, I mean, yeah. But when I first watched this thing, I was like, what the hell is this? This is so creepy and weird. But in the best ways, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell this means. But anyway, it's freaking awesome, man. I mean, there's so many different Easter eggs to boots. You got Wanda in her WandaVision clothes from the comics and being all like, yeah, I'm a Slakovia fortune teller. I see you, Kevin. I see you, Kevin Feige over here, you know, being all creative and all that. And oh my gosh, Vision, dressing up like Vision from the comics. Oh, look at that over there. And oh, Quicksilver over here, dressing up like Quicksilver from the comics. Also, it's interesting to note that I kind of figured out while watching this episode the first time was Quicksilver, his speed, his streaks and all that looked like the MCU level of speed, where it's kind of like a blur. Whereas in the X-Men, like Days of Future Past and Apocalypse and all those movies and all that, Quicksilver was more like just appeared out of nowhere. There wasn't a blur or anything. So this is ironically more MCU Quicksilver, which, okay, pretty interesting. I know I'm a nerd, but I noticed that. And here's a thing also that's pretty interesting that many people called up, but I was like, I don't think they might really do that quite yet, but they did. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, they did. So let me try to get this right because they have almost identical names. Tommy is inherited the super speed from his uncle, aka Quicksilver, so now he's called Speed. He's Speed in the comics, but he's never called Speed in this show, but he is Speed. Let's put it lightly. Billy inherited WandaVision's powers and can see things from far away and all that, and has some of her telepathy powers and all that type of stuff, and can, sense people from far away and all that. And come to find out, his superhero name in the comics is Wiccan, and he's apparently a LGBTQ plus character in the MCU. So yeah, more representation. I like it. So yeah, most of the episode is kind of not all that much really happening or going on or whatever in the show part of the world necessarily. I mean, Vision's just walking along the whole neighborhood just to see like what's going on, to kind of investigate a little bit further. And as we travel farther than Wanda is, apparently she can't hold everybody there. She can't like make everybody do or say things that they want to do. They're mostly just standing still, and one's even like crying because she can't hold her kids, which is kind of, that's horrific. I mean, if a person like, a father or a mother had kids, they can see them, but they can't reach them. It's kind of sad. I mean, I felt for this thing. I mean, I felt for this family, it's very touching. What the heck, Marvel? That's why. Anyway, Wanda keeps on trying to see what's going on with Quicksilver, seeing if he's actually her real brother or whatever, even though he looks very different from the Quicksilver we know from the MCU. And they even tell a little joke here and there, like Kick-Ass. Wanda mentions Kick-Ass, and the guy who was Quicksilver in these movies, he played Kick-Ass in those 2 movies of Kick-Ass. So there you go. Joke. As you can tell, I'm not really all that enthused, but, it's a little funny there. That's a little funny there. Okay, good job. And anyway, the more of the story is focused on Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy, with them, disrupting the Colonel's like plans and all that to destroy Wanda, and then they're like kicked off the base. But Darcy is tracking Vision through the void because of the vibranium signature that he possesses. But none of that really matters, because what happens at the end shocks and terrorizes everybody that watched it. The big reveal, the big, huge, climactic ending to this episode is as follows. So Vision sees the barrier, goes through the barrier, and as he comes out the other end, he starts to break apart and being destroyed, thus kind of hinting at the fact that he's not real. He can't exist outside of the void. Darcy is here as well, and she tries to help Vision, but the army people tie her up, basically, like handcuff her to a car or something. Wiccan sees Vision kind of being destroyed and all that, tells his mother. Quicksilver tells a bad joke, and Wanda's like, blows him across town, basically. And her telling the kids to get inside, and then she extends the barrier, and everyone starts freaking out and going insane, thus cementing the fact that, yes, she is the only one that's controlling this field. Vision makes it back into the void. Darcy makes it into the void. However, Jimmy Woo and Monica escape, and thus is the end of this episode. And oh my gosh, it was pretty eventful. I mean, it was almost, with all this stuff going on, it was almost equally as eventful as the whole Quicksilver reveal, in my opinion, as that. But it did have a more lasting impact, in my opinion, because anyone could watch it and be not lost. Whereas if they watch the Quicksilver reveal, they're kind of be like, okay, what the heck's going on here? And I don't know, if you're not a movie nerd and you're watching it in like, I don't know, 2046 or something like that, you probably won't understand what the heck's going on. But anyway, I mean, what I liked about this episode, everything, basically, it was all really great. It was all, I don't really have a whole lot of complaints about this episode. I mean, they even kind of hinted at the fact that Monica might have some powers because she went through the void like twice already, you know, going in and then coming back out, and now she wants to go back in again. Her cellular levels are kind of going out of whack, which seems to be that she might have some, I don't know, might have weird powers coming up later, coming soon to the theater near you, you know, who knows. But as always, in a Marvel or DC movie or whatever, whenever someone says something's changing in your cellular level, you can bet for sure that something, yeah, they're going to have powers, you know, whatever. I would say that's my only complaints, the little bit of that. But everything else was freaking awesome. And I even think the little foreshadowing for powers is freaking awesome. I mean, even though it's been done to death by now, it's still great. No complaints here. The comedy, the nuance, the horror, the drama, it's all portrayed in this one episode. And in fact, this might be one of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite. I mean, I still really like episode 1 and episode 2. They were really good, but this one just takes the cake for me. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, guys, comment, let us know, subscribe, ring that bell. What did you think of this episode? Do you think it's the best one this show has to offer? Subscribe, ring that bell. More content coming your way, and hey, take care, guys.